that motivates our ladies and gentlemen. And that is volunteer work, all right? That is completely volunteer work. So we do a lot for the community, and it says a lot about a business that does a lot for the community, all right? Number 5, how we innovate and improve the experience. So I'm always looking for ways to improve. Number 6 is our problem resolution value, that I own and immediately resolve guest problem. Number 7, my favorite value, that I create an environment of teamwork and lateral service. Okay, I spoke earlier about lateral service, but here's where I'm going to explain it. I'm pretty sure you all understand the concept of teamwork, do you? Yeah? Who can define teamwork? I'll be fascinated to hear one of you define teamwork.
People working together towards the same goal.
People working together towards the same goal. Anybody else?
That's perfect.
This is not a teamwork class, or I'm going to teach you how we teach teamwork in Ritz-Carlton, but the best definition for teamwork that I've ever heard is a group of people that go out of their way to make each other look good. Sometimes, to be a really good team player, we have to do things even when we don't get the credit for it, right? And that's very important to teach, especially our ladies and gentlemen. But this is not a teamwork class. How we teach teamwork in Ritz-Carlton is through lateral service. Lateral service means that it doesn't matter what job you do, if I see you in need, I step in and assist you. So it does not matter what job you do, if I see you in need, I step in and assist you. So I am almost 22 years with the company. I have never worked the front desk. So if the front desk needs help, my job is to step in and assist them. I'm not gonna go behind the desk and try to check you in. I'm gonna ruin the system, all right? So I'm not gonna do that. But if I see a line in the front desk, I know that not every single person in there, this is where we use an internal concept in Ritz-Carlton called radar on and antenna up, meaning that I always have to have my radars on and antennas up. I see a line of people, not all of them have a luggage, that means that they're not checking in. So if they're not checking in, my radar, my antenna is telling me they probably have a question. I can take care of that and get them out of that line. So that the ladies and gentlemen can do what they need to do. If they need recommendation, that's very easy. I know the recommendations. If not, I know who are the experts on that. And it's an opportunity for me to engage. If they do need to speak to the front desk agent and I know that they have to wait, then I'll use my empowerment and say, what kind of beverage can I bring you? Or would you like to sit here? You won't lose your time in the line, right? So it's a moment of engagement, okay? So that's where lateral service comes in. We send out an email, a mass note, and we say, lateral service in housekeeping. All the support departments are there. Because front desk cannot leave their department unless they have one extra person. So all the support teams are out there making beds, cleaning the toilet, carrying things, right? Because that's what we do. So you see accounting, IT, the general manager. If there's a big banquet happening, 2,000, 3,000 people, and you know how you see the servers come out and everything looks in sync and also beautiful? We are all behind the scenes. The chef puts out a picture of how that plate needs to look at. And if my job are the carrots, I know exactly how those carrots need to go in that plate and how do I pass them to the next person. And all the servers have to do is grab the tray and come out like nothing is happening. But we are all in the back helping out each other. Lateral service teaches us what exactly another person, another position has to go through for them to get their job, and how do I make that a little bit easier on them, all right? Because sometimes there are positions that, I don't know, have you ever, let me see, any of you ever worked in housekeeping, by the way? I know it's not the same industry, but do you know how difficult it is to make a bed? Do you have any idea? It takes about 45 minutes to get a room ready. And housekeepers are not 18, 19 years old. It's their career. Females that have dedicated their lives. I've always been an athlete. I've always been in sport. Well, you heard me that I could lift 400% of my weight. The first time I had to do lateral service in housekeeping, I broke my back, let me tell you. And I'm pretty strong. I know I'm strong. I mean, I've been an athlete my entire life. That's hard. It's a lot of bending. It's a lot of lifting. I mean, those mattresses are heavy. And until you know the pain that another person has to go through, I mean, don't lead someone if you don't know what job they're doing. Makes no sense. It is the same thing as telling someone to smile if you yourself don't smile, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? So lateral service helps us to bring the team together, get to understand what other people are doing. You know what my favorite one is? We do the day in the life of. That's part of our lateral service. So you will see the general manager, and most of you probably don't even know who the general manager of this property is, unless he introduces himself as that. He has to wear the uniform of a maintenance person, and he has to work the entire shift as a maintenance person, and he gets to see what they have to do every single day, and then he comes back with our executives, our guidance, and they come back and they say, my gosh, we cut the budget on this team, and look how much they needed. They get to experience that for themselves. So that's lateral service, all right? That's how we teach teamwork in Ritz-Carlton. And I gotta tell you, if somebody in Ritz-Carlton says, nope, I'm not doing lateral service, that's frowned upon in Ritz-Carlton. Anything frowned upon in Ritz-Carlton, that's not good. Because that means that you are working against the culture, right? So we take that very, very seriously. But that's just number 7. Number 8, our learning value, that I continuously have the opportunity to learn and grow. You already know the training hours. Number 9, the service value of today, that I am involved in the planning of the work that affects me. That's the quality value, all right? That means that we are not making decisions without involving the end user. We are not going to put in a computer system without having our ladies and gentlemen try it first and tell us, yes, this works for us. Because how many times do we implement things and then people come back and say, I could have told you not to do this or do it better, right? So we involve people in the planning of the work that affects it. And I say the majority of the session because if there's a fire, there's no need to get together and decide what to do, right? We have to act real quick. So that's just the middle part of the emotional engagement. The most important part of this diamond, these are the things that most companies don't want to work on because they want to concentrate so much on the mystique that they forget that there are things that are not sexy, but we have to work on them. These are processes. These are the things that, you know, customers don't think they have to worry about it when they do business with you, but they just have to be in place. So by default, it's 10, 11, and 12. Number 10 is that I'm proud of my professional appearance, language, and behavior. This is grooming, language, you know, the way we present ourselves, right? Basics of service is where the motto also comes in, the way we speak to people, how we answer questions. You know, if somebody doesn't know what the answer is, do they say no, or do they say, allow me to find someone that can better assist you? How do I say no in a proper way? Because, you know, saying no is a negative, right? So how do I make it into a positive? So we use guides to teach our ladies and gentlemen what is the correct verbiage, what is the correct behavior, you know, all those basic things. Pretty much is etiquette and manners. We teach a lot of etiquette and manners. That means a lot to people. Basic things from the way you sit, the way you present yourself, all of those things. I mean, even to the way you have your office, because if you have customers coming to your office and you have 20,000 sticky notes, you know, that's not a good impression. Number 11, privacy, confidentiality, right? We have access to so much information and there's so much hacking out there, unfortunately, right? How do we protect people's information? That's important for people. You might be the most competent, nicest individual in the world, but if I cannot trust you with my information, I'm not doing business with you. And number 12, for us, this is very important. So number 12 is down here. So number 1 is at the pinnacle of the diamond, but number 12 is down here, which is cleanliness, safe, and accident-free environment. Let me tell you, any one of these ladies and gentlemen can go and say, oh, it's my pleasure, oh, I love you, oh, the whole thing, and you're so happy, yeah, and you get to your room, and there's hair in the bathtub. I'm sorry, it all goes away like that. Right? I don't know if you know this, but you know, did you know that people judge you on your public bathrooms? Absolutely, absolutely. So it's very basic, but they just have to be in place no matter what. Okay? So they are ruled by this banner that says, I am proud to be Ritz-Carlton. And by the way, when we evolved our service values, our ladies and gentlemen came up with that. That's why they drive it, because they came up with it. We didn't come up with it. We got together, our president traveled all over the world back in 2003, met with them, and they said, look, how do we make ourselves more principled, more value-driven, and they came up with it. What is something that you see in here that is similar, that they all have in common?
They all start with an I.
Now, why do you think they start with I? Because in the other pillars, you saw we, you saw more all of us together. These are very individualized. Why do you think it says I?
Ownership.
Who's that ownership? Somebody. It's personal responsibility and personal accountability. So meaning that I cannot point the finger at somebody else unless I've looked at myself and say, did I do what I was supposed to do? Did I? They're action driven, they are present driven. They're not in the past, they're not in the future, all right? This is, everything in service is psychological, so meaning that sometimes we use statements like, we will, right? Or I will, they're futuristic. That doesn't mean that people are going to do them. These are action driven, results driven, today. This is what I'm doing today. That's why they're operational, right? These are the walls and windows of the house. We have the foundation, but these are the walls and windows. How do we execute and operationalize everything? Does it make sense? Any questions about these values that you may have? Because I'm going to go into the systems and how do we actually execute this, all right? So the systems behind the smiles is actually how do we execute and bring all of this